Have you ever wondered what truly happens the very moment after you die? Is it simply darkness, an empty void, or is there something far more profound, waiting just beyond the veil? What if we told you that there's an ancient text that claims to map out this very journey? Today we step into the mysterious and unknown, into teachings that attempt to explain the inexplicable. This isn't a journey for the faint-hearted. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, known in Buddhism as the Bardo Thodol, is a spiritual roadmap crafted centuries ago that guides the soul through the final frontier, the passage after life. This text is not merely about death. It's a manual for navigating the realms that come right after, offering a glimpse into a process filled with divine visions, reflections, and choices. Choices that, according to this ancient text, can ultimately shape our fate. We'll delve into the book's teachings on the bardos, the three distinct stages that every soul must pass through after death. First, the moment of death itself, where consciousness meets the primordial light. Then, we encounter visions of our own making, reflections of our deepest desires and fears. And finally, a crossroads that compels us to choose rebirth or, for the enlightened, liberation. If you've ever been curious about what lies beyond, if you've felt a pull to understand life's deepest mysteries, then stay with us. We're about to embark on a journey into the unknown, a journey that brings ancient wisdom into our modern world. Join us as we walk through the words of an ancient master and uncover what may await us all beyond the last breath. To understand the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we first need to learn about the man who is said to have inspired it, Padmasambhava, a figure shrouded in historical and mystical reverence. Known as Guru Rinpoche, or Precious Master, Padmasambhava was more than just a Buddhist monk. He was a legendary spiritual figure, revered for his profound mastery of mystical techniques and extraordinary powers. Often regarded as the one who brought Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century, his legacy is still deeply felt in Tibetan culture today. Padmasambhava was invited to Tibet by King Trisong Detsen, a visionary leader who believed in uniting the country under a spiritual framework to strengthen its identity. At the time, Tibet was steeped in shamanic and animistic beliefs rooted in the indigenous Bon religion, where powerful spirits and deities governed daily life. Introducing Buddhism into this complex environment was no simple task, and Padmasambhava's approach was as innovative as it was daring. Rather than attempting to erase these indigenous beliefs, Padmasambhava chose to harmonize them with Buddhism. Legends tell us that he used tantric rituals and mystical techniques to tame the local spirits, integrating them into the Buddhist framework instead of confronting them. This synthesis of ancient Bon traditions and Buddhist teachings became the unique foundation of Tibetan Buddhism, a tradition that reveres Padmasambhava as a spiritual hero. Padmasambhava's vision was not limited to the spiritual life of the living. He saw death as the ultimate transition and a critical opportunity for liberation. His insights led him to create teachings to guide the soul through the bardos, or transitional states, encountered after physical death. This guide, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is meant to serve not only as a map for the departed, but as a tool for the living to prepare for the ultimate journey. Understanding Padmasambhava's mission helps us grasp the origins and purpose of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. His compassion and wisdom extended beyond his era, offering a path to face our final journey with clarity and courage. In this guide, he left behind a timeless message that liberation is possible even beyond life if one is prepared. With this background, we're ready to dive into the profound teachings he left for the world. At its core, the Bardo Thodol, or Tibetan Book of the Dead, is much more than a religious text. It's a profound spiritual guide that illuminates one of humanity's deepest mysteries: what happens after we die. For those who follow Tibetan Buddhism, this text serves as a map not of a physical place, but of the mind's journey beyond life, a journey that each of us will inevitably face. The Bardo Thodol is written as a series of instructions intended to be read aloud to a person who has recently passed. In Tibetan tradition, family or a spiritual guide reads from the text to guide the consciousness of the departed through the transitional stages, or bardos, that follow death. It's believed that during this time, the consciousness is in a unique state, freed from the distractions of the body, but also vulnerable to illusions, fears, and desires that can cloud judgment and trap the soul in the cycle of rebirth. Padmasambhava, who inspired the Bardo Thodol, understood that death could be an opportunity for enlightenment if the soul could remain aware and detached from illusions. This is the essence of his teachings in the Bardo Thodol. Death as a final test, a moment where, if prepared, one can transcend the cycle of samsara, the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. In this way, the Bardo Thodol offers guidance not only for the dying, but for the living too. It suggests that by studying and understanding these teachings while alive, we can prepare our minds to face death with clarity and purpose. The text describes 3 primary bardos, or states, encountered after death, each presenting unique challenges and opportunities. The first, Chikai Bardo, is the moment of death itself, where one encounters the clear light, a primordial brightness said to be the true nature of the mind. Recognizing this light and merging with it is considered the highest form of liberation. But for those unprepared, the experience can be overwhelming and lead them into the next stages. The second, Chonyid Bardo, is known as the Bardo of Visions. Here, the soul experiences visions that reflect its innermost desires, fears, and unresolved emotions. This stage serves as a mirror of the mind, with both peaceful and wrathful deities appearing, representing aspects of one's consciousness. Those who can recognize these visions as projections of their own mind can achieve liberation even at this stage. The final stage, Sidpa Bardo, involves the choice of rebirth. Here, the pull of karmic forces and accumulated attachments leads the soul toward a new body, a new life. The Bardo Thodol instructs the soul to remain detached and lucid, providing one last opportunity to break free from samsara and attain liberation. Ultimately, the Bardo Thodol is a compassionate text, one that acknowledges the challenges of dying and offers a spiritual path to transcend them. It encourages us to live in a way that prepares us for the inevitable, cultivating a mind that can face death with clarity, detachment, and perhaps liberation. The Bardo Thodol teaches that the journey after death is not a single moment, but a process, a series of stages or bardos that every soul must pass through. In Tibetan Buddhism, these bardos are seen as transitional states, each with its own opportunities for liberation or rebirth, depending on one's awareness and preparation. The first stage, known as the Chikai Bardo, occurs at the moment of death. It's here that the soul encounters what is called the clear light, a radiant, primordial brightness said to be the pure essence of mind itself. For those who are spiritually prepared, recognizing and merging with this light can bring immediate liberation, a release from the cycle of rebirth. However, for most, this encounter with the clear light is fleeting and overwhelming, and they pass on to the next stage. The second stage, the Chonyid Bardo, is often referred to as the Bardo of Visions. In this stage, the soul encounters a series of visions, manifestations of its own consciousness that appear in forms that are both beautiful and terrifying. These visions act as mirrors, revealing the deepest layers of one's mind, including unresolved fears and desires. Here lies another opportunity for liberation, as recognizing these visions as projections of the mind allows the soul to transcend fear. The final stage, the Sidpa Bardo, is the phase of rebirth. In this bardo, the soul, driven by its karmic tendencies, feels a powerful pull toward rebirth. Here, it is drawn toward a new life, its destination shaped by the karma it has accumulated over countless lifetimes. For most, this stage leads to a new cycle of existence, though the text teaches that detachment and clarity can offer a final chance for liberation before rebirth. These three bardos form the spiritual journey mapped out by the Bardo Thodol, each one offering unique challenges and insights as the soul journeys beyond the threshold of death. In the teachings of the Bardo Thodol, the journey after death begins with the Chikai Bardo, also known as the Bardo of Dying. This stage unfolds at the very moment of death, where the consciousness separates from the physical body. It is here that the soul first encounters the clear light, described as a radiant, pure brilliance that is the essence of the mind's true nature. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that this clear light is the ultimate unfiltered state of consciousness, a pure awareness beyond any identity, attachment, or fear. For the spiritually prepared, this encounter with the clear light offers a profound opportunity. It is said that if one can recognize and merge with this light, they achieve immediate liberation, breaking free from the cycle of rebirth or samsara entirely. This liberation, known as nirvana, is a state of ultimate peace and freedom, where the soul no longer experiences the suffering and limitations tied to physical existence. However, this experience requires deep spiritual awareness, as the intensity of the clear light can be overwhelming for those unprepared. The Bardo Thodol explains that most souls, upon seeing this powerful light, experience a surge of fear or attachment to their earthly identity. Unaccustomed to such a raw and unfiltered encounter with consciousness, they may interpret the light as something threatening rather than a part of their true self. This reaction often causes the soul to recoil, leading it to retreat from the light, missing this rare opportunity for liberation. For the majority, the encounter with the clear light is brief. Without the practice or understanding to embrace it fully, they move on to the next stages of the bardos. Tibetan Buddhism emphasizes the importance of preparation for this very moment through meditation and reflection on the nature of the mind while still alive. By familiarizing oneself with the idea of the clear light during life, a practitioner can reduce fear and strengthen the mind's ability to recognize and embrace it after death. The Chikai Bardo also teaches us about the importance of clarity and detachment at the moment of death. Those who practice mindfulness and cultivate a connection to their inner awareness may find it easier to recognize the light when the time comes. They are less likely to be overtaken by fear or clinging to physical existence, allowing them to transcend the cycle of birth and death. According to the Bardo Thodol, this initial stage of Chikai Bardo is like a portal where one can glimpse the truth of their being beyond physical form. For those who are prepared, it represents the highest possibility of freedom. However, this encounter with the clear light is, for most people, fleeting, a temporary glimpse into a state of consciousness that many are not ready to face fully. The teachings of Chikai Bardo remind us of the spiritual work that can be done in life to prepare for death. By contemplating the mind's true nature, practicing detachment, and familiarizing ourselves with the concept of the clear light, we can strengthen our ability to meet this moment with awareness and calm. This preparation is not only for the afterlife, it's a way to live more fully in the present, free from attachments that cloud our perception. In summary, the Chikai Bardo represents the first step on the journey after death, a critical juncture where the soul has the potential to transcend the limitations of existence. Recognizing the clear light is the key to liberation, and although this moment may be brief, it offers a profound opportunity, a final chance to unite with the essence of consciousness and achieve freedom beyond life itself. After passing through the Chikai Bardo, the soul enters the second stage of the journey, the Chonyid Bardo, or the Bardo of Visions. This stage is often described as the most vivid and intense phase of the afterlife, as it brings the soul face to face with projections of its own mind. Unlike the initial encounter with the clear light, which is pure and unfiltered, the Chonyid Bardo is characterized by an array of visual experiences that can appear both beautiful and terrifying. In this stage, the soul witnesses manifestations of its deepest thoughts, desires and fears, projected outward as powerful visions. These visions can range from peaceful, serene figures to monstrous, wrathful entities. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that these are not external beings, but reflections of one's inner consciousness, the unresolved emotions, attachments, and karmic imprints accumulated over lifetimes. The peaceful and wrathful deities that appear in this stage are symbols of the soul's emotional and mental states, with each vision representing an opportunity for the soul to transcend its attachments. The first part of the Chonyid Bardo brings what are known as peaceful visions. In these initial visions, the soul encounters deities, Buddhas, and enlightened beings that radiate a sense of calm and compassion. For those who have cultivated spiritual awareness in life, these peaceful figures are easily recognizable as expressions of higher consciousness, guiding the soul toward liberation. The text describes them as luminous and serene, embodying the qualities of enlightenment, wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. For a prepared mind, these visions offer a chance for liberation. Recognizing them as projections of its own enlightened nature, the soul can merge with these deities, experiencing unity with its highest self. However, for many, even these peaceful visions can be overwhelming. Unfamiliar with such heightened states of consciousness, the unprepared soul may experience doubt, confusion, or fear. This reaction leads the soul to recoil, moving it further along the path of visions. Following the peaceful deities, the soul is then confronted by a different kind of vision, wrathful deities. These figures appear monstrous, intimidating, and intense, embodying the soul's own unresolved anger, fear, and attachments. Tibetan Buddhism emphasizes that these wrathful deities are not external threats or malicious beings, but expressions of the soul's own mind, symbolizing aspects of the psyche that remain untamed and unintegrated. For a soul that cannot recognize these beings as reflections of itself, they appear frightening and hostile, intensifying the soul's fear and attachment. The appearance of wrathful deities serves as a mirror to the mind's darker aspects, those thoughts and emotions that were perhaps suppressed during life. These figures challenge the soul to confront these aspects without fear or denial. In the teachings of the Bardo Thodol, this stage is seen as an opportunity to face one's inner shadows and release attachment to them. If the soul can recognize these wrathful figures as mere projections, it can dissolve its fears and, in doing so, achieve liberation even at this stage. The Chonyid Bardo is described as a state where everything is amplified. Freed from the limitations of the physical body, the soul experiences emotions and thoughts with heightened intensity and clarity. These visions, while often compared to dreams, differ in their vividness and impact. The soul, unbound by physical senses, encounters its inner energies directly, with each vision carrying a powerful significance. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that every peaceful or wrathful deity represents a lesson, an opportunity to confront and understand different aspects of the self. For those who have prepared for death through spiritual practice, this stage can be navigated with clarity. Meditative practices and self-reflection in life serve as training, helping the mind recognize these visions as creations of its own consciousness. The Bardo Thodol encourages practitioners to familiarize themselves with the concept of emptiness, or shunyata, the understanding that all phenomena are empty of inherent reality. By applying this awareness, the soul can observe these intense visions with detachment, understanding them as temporary expressions of the mind rather than ultimate truths. Detachment is the key to navigating the Chonyid Bardo. For the unprepared soul, the intensity of these visions can lead to attachment or aversion, trapping it within cycles of fear and desire. Tibetan teachings stress that the visions in this bardo are like reflections in a mirror, devoid of substance but appearing real to the untrained eye. By recognizing their emptiness, the soul is freed from the illusion of separation and can approach each vision with peace and understanding. For the spiritual practitioner, the Chonyid Bardo is more than just an after-death experience. It serves as a powerful reminder of the mind's nature. By confronting these projections with calm and clarity, the soul can transcend its karmic attachments, breaking free from the patterns that bind it to samsara. Each vision, whether peaceful or wrathful, is a test of awareness, a chance to awaken to the mind's ultimate nature. Liberation is possible at this stage, provided the soul can see beyond the illusions of duality, realizing that all forms, whether comforting or frightening, are manifestations of itself. As the Chonyid Bardo draws to a close, the soul is given one last chance to merge with the clear light. If it has maintained awareness and overcome the fears stirred by these visions, it can recognize the light as its true essence, achieving final liberation. However, for many, the powerful visions of this bardo prove too compelling, too real, to simply let go. This inability to detach from the illusions of mind pushes the soul toward the next stage, the Sidpa Bardo, the realm of rebirth. The Chonyid Bardo, therefore, is both a mirror and a magnifier. It reflects the soul's inner landscape, amplifying every hidden fear, every unresolved emotion, and every desire that was carried from life. By guiding us through these visions, the Bardo Thodol offers profound lessons, not only about what happens after death, but about the nature of mind itself. This stage teaches us that liberation requires self-understanding, and that to truly be free, one must face and transcend every aspect of the self, peaceful or wrathful, with equal clarity and compassion. After passing through the Chonyid Bardo, the soul enters the final stage of its journey after death, the Sidpa Bardo, also known as the Bardo of Becoming, or the Bardo of Rebirth. In this stage, the soul faces the ultimate question, whether to find liberation or continue in the cycle of rebirth, known as samsara. This stage is marked by the influence of karma, the accumulated energy of one's past actions, thoughts, and desires, which pulls the soul toward a new existence. The Sidpa Bardo is a place of attraction and attachment, where karmic forces act as magnetic currents, drawing the soul toward a new body and life. The soul experiences a sense of urgency, a compulsion to become once again, driven by the unresolved attachments, fears, and desires it carried from its past life. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that this urge is deeply ingrained. It is as if the mind seeks to continue its journey without fully understanding that liberation could be possible. During this stage, the soul often encounters visions associated with the rebirth process. Among these are symbolic images of couples in union, representing the physical process of conception. According to the Bardo Thodol, this attraction serves as the final pull into a new existence, and the type of life the soul will enter is heavily influenced by its karmic tendencies. For example, if the soul carries unresolved fear or anger, it may be drawn toward a rebirth that reflects those same qualities, creating conditions that mirror its inner state. The Bardo Thodol emphasizes the importance of maintaining a sense of detachment and lucidity during the Sidpa Bardo. This stage offers one final chance for transcendence. For those who can observe their attachments without giving in to them, there remains a possibility of choosing liberation rather than rebirth. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that this detachment is not about coldness or apathy, but about recognizing the illusions of the physical world and understanding that true peace lies beyond the cycle of desire and attachment. However, for most souls, the pull of rebirth is too strong. The urge to continue existing, to hold on to some form of identity, becomes irresistible. This is described as a psychic storm in the Bardo Thodol, a vortex of emotions and instincts that overwhelm the mind, pushing it toward a new form of life. The conditions of this new existence, the family, the environment, the struggles and opportunities, are shaped by the karma that the soul brings from its previous life. In this way, Tibetan Buddhism teaches that each life is both a continuation and an opportunity to evolve, with each rebirth offering a chance to work through karmic lessons. For spiritual practitioners, the Sidpa Bardo is a critical moment. Those who have spent their lives in meditation and reflection on the nature of mind are more likely to approach this stage with clarity. By practicing detachment from desires and understanding the impermanent nature of the self, they are better prepared to resist the pull of samsara and, if they choose, find the path to liberation. The Bardo Thodol suggests that this preparation begins in life. Through meditation, reflection on death, and the practice of compassion, individuals can familiarize themselves with the nature of the mind, making it easier to recognize the illusions of desire and attachment in the Sidpa Bardo. For many, though, the pull of rebirth reflects the unfinished work of life, the unresolved attachments that keep the soul bound to the physical world. The Sidpa Bardo reminds us that liberation is a matter of self-understanding, of seeing through the illusions that bind us to cycles of suffering. Those who can perceive these illusions as transient are given the chance to transcend the need for a physical form, merging instead with the clear light, the ultimate state of peace and freedom. But for most, the pull of the Sidpa Bardo marks the beginning of another life, an opportunity to continue the journey and perhaps come closer to enlightenment. Thus, the Sidpa Bardo serves as a final crossroad. It reflects Tibetan Buddhism's understanding that each life is a choice, a reflection of our own karmic energies, and a step along the path of self-realization. The journey continues, shaped by the soul's readiness to either embrace freedom or return to the wheel of life to seek a deeper understanding of itself. The Bardo Thodol, while primarily a guide for the soul's journey after death, also holds profound wisdom for those of us still living. Its teachings remind us that the journey of the soul isn't limited to what happens after the final breath. Rather, life and death are interconnected, with each moment we live shaping our experience in the bardos to come. One of the central lessons of the Bardo Thodol is the importance of preparation, living with an awareness of death as a natural part of life. In Tibetan Buddhism, practitioners are encouraged to meditate on death regularly, not as a morbid exercise, but as a way to cultivate detachment from the physical world. By contemplating the nature of impermanence, we begin to understand that everything in life, our possessions, relationships, and even our identity, is temporary. This practice fosters a mindset of peace and readiness, enabling us to face death without fear. Another key teaching is the concept of mindfulness, not just as a meditation technique, but as a way of seeing the world. By learning to observe our thoughts, emotions, and reactions with detachment, we develop an inner clarity. This mindfulness helps us confront the attachments and fears that arise in our everyday lives, making it easier to recognize them as illusions. When the time of death arrives, the mind that has been trained in this way is better equipped to navigate the bardos, understanding visions and experiences as projections rather than absolute realities. The Bardo Thodol also teaches us about compassion and self-understanding. In the bardos, the soul encounters reflections of itself, both beautiful and frightening. Similarly, in life, we are constantly faced with opportunities to confront our own inner shadows, our unresolved fears, desires, and attachments. By facing these aspects of ourselves with compassion, we learn to integrate them, reducing the hold they have on us. This integration isn't just spiritual preparation for the afterlife, It also helps us live with greater authenticity and freedom, unburdened by fears that limit us. Moreover, the teachings of the Bardo Thodol encourage us to view each life as an opportunity to grow and evolve. Tibetan Buddhism emphasizes that karma, the accumulation of our actions, thoughts, and intentions, shapes both our present life and the afterlife. By choosing kindness, honesty, and self-awareness in our actions, we generate positive karmic energy that not only benefits us in life, but also influences our experience in the Bardos. In this way, the choices we make now are investments in our spiritual journey, creating a foundation of peace and clarity that supports us when we eventually face death. In essence, the Bardo Thodol offers a powerful reminder that the way we live prepares us for the way we die. Every moment is an opportunity to cultivate a mind that is free from attachments, open to the truth of impermanence, and guided by compassion. By integrating these principles into our daily lives, we are not only preparing ourselves for the afterlife, but also enriching our present existence, moving closer to the ultimate goal of liberation. The wisdom of the Bardo Thodol shows us that death is not the end. It is a continuation of the journey, a mirror reflecting the life we lived. And by embracing these teachings now, we prepare ourselves for the greatest transition of all, carrying forward a mind of clarity, compassion, and freedom into whatever lies beyond. The Bardo Thodol reminds us that life and death are deeply interconnected, each reflecting the other. This ancient guide teaches us that death is not an end, but a profound transition, a mirror reflecting the way we live and prepare for the unknown. By cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and detachment, we prepare not only for what lies beyond, but also for a richer, more meaningful life here and now. As we explored today, the Bardo Thodol offers a path through life's deepest mystery, what happens after death. It invites us to face our attachments, fears, and illusions, both in life and beyond, guiding us toward ultimate freedom. For those drawn to the mysteries of existence, these teachings offer powerful insights, reminding us that every thought, every choice shapes our journey. If this exploration resonated with you, please consider subscribing, sharing this video, and leaving a comment below. Let us know what intrigues you most about life after death and the journey of the soul. Together, we can continue to explore the greatest mysteries of existence and perhaps gain a deeper understanding of what it means to truly live. Thank you for joining us on this journey.